Hello and welcome. I'm GeoSam, your GIMP know-how guy. And in this video I'm going to show you about the Gimp Image Window. That's this main window you see right here. I'm going to show you all or most of the controls or the features that are incorporated into this image window. And I believe most, if not all, of the features have been with GIMP since I guess 2.6 or even earlier versions of GIMP. If you're been using GIMP as long as I have, then you probably know about these features. And the first one I'll start off with is the menu bar, which is all these menus up here. This is called the menu bar. I may have a few here that you don't have, but this is the menu bar. This is where you come to do select most of your workflow. Okay, that's the menu bar. Now there's ways of accessing the menu bar. Other ways, you can right click on the canvas. This also opens up the menu bar, and you can access all of your menus through this. Also, there's a button here, access the image menu. Right here, this button. If you click that button, it opens up the image menu or the menu bar as well. Now this is good if you turn off. If you go to View, and you turn off Show Menu Bar, that will disappear, and then you would have to just click this little button to get to your menus. That's the only reason I could see why that's there. So let me re-enable the view of the menu bar, or the show menu bar. So I re-established the menu bar. Now there's also the toggle Quickmask on and off. This here. Now this has a lot of different functions. I'll just click it and I'll show you that by default I believe it's set to the Quickmask is set to red. Now this can be changed in preferences. So if you go to Edit Preferences, I believe it's under Image, Default Image it's under, and here is the Quickmask color. Now I guess red is okay, but say you have an image that's all red, maybe that's not so good. Maybe you would want to choose, like, say, a green color. Click OK. You'd have to restart GIMP in order to have that to take effect. But I'm going to go back and change it. I'll go back into Preferences and change it back to the original color, which was red. Now the way this works is if you use the paintbrush, I have a paintbrush and have it set to a hardness, let's set it to a hardness of 0.5 or 0.75, and you switch the colors around by clicking this arrow here. Switch the foreground color with the background color, which is white, because white is full opacity. And we come back down here and we begin to paint. It will reveal what's underneath. This is good for a couple of things. I'll just paint this out just to show you how this works. And it's called a Quickmask because it's usually used on the fly, and it's a quick alternative to setting up a mask, but then again, it works better if you duplicate the layer, which I didn't do, which is what I should be doing. But this is how it works. Now you can also select within the mask, select grow, cancel, select grow by say 3, and fill with white. Okay, select none. Now that's our quick mask. And when you toggle it off, it creates a selection, which can be handy. If I toggle it back on, it re-shows our mask. Now we can refine it by painting in with black the areas that we don't want, like say this area or this area. Just refining the quick mask to show you how this works. Okay, I think you get the idea, but that's what a quick mask. If you turn the quick mask off, it leaves a selection, and then you can go select, change that to a path, select to path, and there is a path now for that selection. Or you can go select, save to channel, and it saves it to a channel. This is always good for saving your selections for later. So if I were to go select none and I wanted to reestablish that selection, I could just go click on the saved channel selection and go channel to selection, and there is our selection again. Now I'm going to undo all this and go back to the base. And I'll show you the other features of the main window, which is you can see the numbers down here in this part of the screen. If I go onto the canvas with my brush, it shows the coordinates of where the brush is pointing at. If I stop, that's the intersection between these 2 points. So if I were to pull out a guideline to there, and then pull out another guideline to here, and then I were to go on that center point, those 2 numbers correspond to that point, which is 79 pixels by 879 pixels or so, or 880 pixels by 98 pixels. Anyway, that's handy for different scripts require coordinates. One filter that I know that requires coordinates is I believe it's what script is that? The light, let's see, light filter, light, and supernova requires coordinates. So you would enter these coordinates, which would be say 98 and 880, so that would be 98 and 880. And you see here in this dialog that that's where the supernova will put itself. So if I click OK, that's where the supernova is. That's what this is good for. Now you can change this is what the coordinates is read out as. It could be inches, pixels, inches, and so forth. But by default, it's pixels, and that's what I suggest you keep it on, which is pixels, because that's mainly what we're working with here. As a GIMP being a raster editor, we're working with pixels. In any case, the next feature is the zoom feature here, which offers you different varieties of zoom. I'm going to undo the supernova, and I'm going to drag these guidelines back. Yeah, the zoom feature offers you different zoom percentages. 100%, which is pretty self-explanatory. Back to 100%, and this portion of the screen here, where you see it says Gimp Image Window 2 ping 12.5 megabytes. This is the status bar. This will show you when you're not using a tool. This will display the image information, basic image information. Now if I click on, say, the brush tool and I put it on the canvas, you'll see it changes. If you look down here at the tool menu, it changes to the brush, and then CLT to pick color, Control to pick color, pick any color, and then try Shift for straight line, Shift, straight line, and this is the status bar. This will show you all the status of what's going on. Now if I click, say, the clone tool, it'll show you little messages down here. Control click to select a new clone source. I'll undo the paint. That's what this is, the status bar. Now you can get rid of the status bar by going into View and unclick Show Status Bar. But the status bar is very helpful to have. That's why I always keep that showing. Now the next one is the navigation image display. To navigate the image window display, this little button right here. These buttons are really can be overlooked, but if you click it and move the image around, I'll show you. If you click it and move your image around, and click and hold with the left mouse button and hold, you can navigate throughout your entire image. Now you can do this by using the space bar, bringing your cursor to the canvas, clicking the space bar. Cursor should show up, and you can then move the canvas without clicking the mouse button. It will just automatically engage, and when you lift off, it will disengage. So re-engage, hit the space bar. To unengage, lift the space bar, and you're back to your tool set again, whatever tool you were working with. That's that. Now you can change the preview, and I have preview set to enormous for this little tiny window here that you see. Now I think by default it's on small, I don't know, but if you go to preferences, edit preferences, I believe it's under interface. It's under interface. Navigation preview size, enormous. I believe by default it's under small. It's in small. Click OK. So if you click on it, that's what you see. But I like enormous, so I'm going to go back to enormous. So we'll go back to preferences. It's under interface. Navigation preview size, small is default. I like it to be enormous. Click OK. And when you hold the left mouse button, you'll have a larger navigation display to look at. But that's how I like it. Okay, the next feature is this button up here, which is the zoom image when window size changes. Now what that means is by default it won't zoom. If I decide to rescale my window, you notice the image does not scale to the window. However, if I click this button and decide I want to scale it, you see the image scales with the window, which can be helpful. I generally leave it on the default setting, which is off basically. Then there's also the ruler. That's all up here. This is in pixels. So right here would be 0 pixels. And as you move the pointer across the canvas, the measurement will move along the measure tool with you on both axes, X and Y. So as I go vertically, the cursor on the measuring area or bar, the measuring bar or tool, will move with it, and if you'll see both of them move together if I move diagonally, vertically, diagonally, or if I move horizontally, you'll see that the top moves. If I move just vertically, then the measurement, the guide on the measurement. This is good for placing out guides. I don't generally use it as often, or that often, to tell you the truth. Anyway, that's all I wanted to show you. The image window controls and things that have been with Gimp from the beginning, and things that you may or may not have been aware of, but now you know. Anyway, if you like what you see, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever I upload a video. Thanks for watching.